Joey Mack makes dirt bike content. Trails, off-road runs, remote locations most people never reach on foot. His videos are entertaining, high energy, the kind you put on when you want to feel like you're out there with him. This particular video took a turn nobody expected.
What is going on, lady boys? Just lost out here in the forest. Just kidding. Me and Brendan got brand new 2020 Honda CRF 110s.
The video opens with Joey and his friend Brennan going over their bikes before heading out.
Fuel injection, EFI, no more carburetor issues, which that is what I'm most pumped about for sure. So the reason I got rid of my L is the carb issues sucked on them so bad. And so we're hoping, we haven't put too many miles. We literally just rode these things for like an hour trying to find the trail to start Batista Canyon, but we've come up a little bit short. And so we're gonna try to figure it out. It should be down here somewhere, but.
Not long after, they took the bikes off-road and pushed deeper into the backcountry.
I can at least be brutally honest, which I would be with you guys either way. So let's get going here. Right off, it does shift a little bit weird, a little bit different than the 110s, but maybe I feel like I get used to it. Oh my God. It is so rocky up this hill, unreal.
For most of the ride, it was exactly what it looked like. Two guys on dirt bikes having a good time in the middle of nowhere. Nothing unusual, nothing worth a second thought. And then, without any warning at all, that changed.
Oh, bees! Bees! Oh, there are a lot of bees. Sorry, Brendan. I'm going back this way. I'm terrified of bees. I got attacked by killer bees one time. That is a whole nother, oh my God, what the hell is this? What the Where did she come from? Okay, that is creepy. That is so creepy. Brendan's gonna freak out.
Here's the thing, a girl in the middle of the city, completely normal. A girl on a busy hiking trail, also fine. But a girl alone, on foot, miles from any road, any town, any sign of other people, that's a different situation entirely. That's the kind of thing that makes you slow down and think. The way she moved when she spotted him, the way she was just there, in the middle of all that empty terrain, it didn't sit right.
Dude. What was that?
What?
That girl.
That was creepy as fuck, huh?
Was that not creepy?
Her bag, I was just going to look at her bag.
Wait,
Her
what?
bag way down there where I kept going.
Yeah.
Her bag like hidden in the bushes down there.
Dude, she just like was
She
staring.
came, like, running at me.
She did?
Yeah, I was like, throw her back to the river.
Yeah.
And she was like sprinting through there.
What? She was just like kind of like staring at me. Dude, that was weird.
When they got home, the image of her stayed with them. Something about the whole encounter felt off enough that they did what most people do when something doesn't add up. They searched online, and almost immediately they found a photo, a missing person report, a girl who looked strikingly similar to the one they'd seen out in those hills. They picked up the phone and called the police.
That's Rachel.
Hello, I'm calling about a missing persons report, and I think I might have seen the girl.
Do you know the name of the person?
Yes, it's Carly Gousset. She went missing in Bishop, California, but I was out in Hemet. It's like Batista Canyon Road out in the mountains, and I came across a girl that looks really close to her out in the hills right off the side of the road, and I seen a picture of it and it just kind of popped in my head and it looked exactly like her, so I thought I'd call in and make a report at least.
Okay, do you know the cross street to Batista Canyon? Where you saw her?
Yeah, hang on one second, let me look.
Okay, and was she like walking or sitting on the side of the road?
She was walking down a creek bed off the side of the road. I have footage, GoPro footage of it. I was on my motorcycle filming, and I came across, and I thought it was kind of weird, but she got kind of spooked out too. But she was just too far out. Like, there was no cars around, nobody was around. So it kind of, it's kind of a weird deal.
The call went in. The officer took the report seriously, took down Joey's directions, and headed out that same night. Around midnight, he called back. It wasn't the girl from the missing person report.
As soon as I got in contact with him, they were super helpful. I told them my whole story, where I seen her at, and they're like, okay, we're going to send someone out right then. And so then he ended up calling me around like 8 o'clock at night, I believe. And he was like, so, okay, give me like your directions, where they were at and stuff like that. So that's exactly what I did. And he's like, all right, I'm heading out right now. I was like, you're going to go out there at 9 at night right now, like out into the forest? And he's like, yep, I'm going to go see if I can find her. And so he ended up calling me back at, I think it was, 12 a.m. in the morning. He's like, hey, he's like, good news, Joey, we found him. And he's like, it's not the girl that you thought it was. It is not Carly, but you did find some missing teens. And I was like, what do you mean? So actually, he ended up finding a 15-year-old girl and her boyfriend, I believe it was, he was 17 years old. And they've been missing for 2 days. So they ended up running away from home, something like that. I didn't really get into details too much. Obviously, it's not my place, but he said, good job. He's like, your directions led me straight to him. They ended up sleeping in like a little ravine in there, and they were able to return back to their parents. So it ended up being a happy ending, which I'm glad.
A remote trail, a solo backpacking trip, a few days away from the road to clear her head. That was the plan when she posted this video on March 30th, 2025 to her channel Nomad Unknown. Her audience knows her style: honest, unhurried, the real texture of life lived out of an SUV. Quiet mornings, long drives, the kind of content that doesn't perform anything. But this trip, meant to be a mental reset after months on the road, turned into something she wasn't prepared for. The forest was quiet when she arrived. The trail was empty. Nothing in the early part of the hike suggested anything was wrong. Near the trailhead, she noticed a man. Nothing about him immediately raised concern, but as she moved deeper into the trail, he kept appearing. Different points along the route, the same figure showing up again and again.
The next time I saw him, he was at a crossroads, and it looked like he was loading things into his car to leave. But I guess he was pulling a backpack out, because even though I didn't say anything to him at that point, I literally just got across this bridge that's behind me, and it was filming some of the wild azaleas, and there he came from behind me again.
The details were small but hard to ignore. At one point, he had nothing with him but a water bottle. Later, he appeared again carrying a full backpack she hadn't seen before. No direct confrontation, no obvious threat, just repetition. The same person, in the same trail, always somewhere nearby. It was the kind of thing that builds quietly. Each sighting on its own means nothing. Together, they start to mean something you can't quite name. She kept going, started looking for a place to camp, and that's when the unease sharpened into something more specific. Something was off about the area she'd chosen. She slowed down, looked more carefully at her surroundings, and then she saw it. A trail camera, tucked into the environment, almost invisible unless you knew to look.
There's the bridge, you can see that. And then the backpack's right there. I was thinking I was going to camp over there, but I looked over and I saw this area here, the clearing, and I thought, you know what, that's a bit more hidden from trail. I might feel more comfortable and secure over there, so I came over. Why is there a trail cam pointing to that campsite? I don't really know how those things work. Maybe it's not visible on the camera, but like, what else is it pointing at? Okay. What the heck?
Once she spotted it, the placement was impossible to read as coincidental. It was aimed directly at the area she had been considering for her campsite, not at the trail, not at the surrounding landscape, at the spot where someone would sleep. The forest stopped feeling remote and started feeling observed. She didn't deliberate. She turned around and left. On the way back down the trail, she mentioned what she'd found to other hikers she passed. Their reactions confirmed what she already suspected. A trail camera positioned like that, in that location, wasn't something anyone could explain away as routine. Back at her vehicle, the feeling didn't lift. She reported it to the authorities. No clear explanation was ever provided. No one claimed the camera. No reason was given for why it was pointing at that particular spot. What remained was the question itself. Who put it there, and what were they waiting to see? Some things don't get resolved. They just stay with you. Mac Adventures is a channel built around motorbikes and road trips. Two creators, cameras rolling, documenting wherever the road takes them. In this particular episode, the road took them somewhere it probably shouldn't have. The location was one they'd already visited before, a place they had no access to, no permission to enter, and every reason to leave alone. The first time, nothing happened. They pushed the boundary, walked away clean, and apparently took that as a green light. So they went back, and as tends to happen when you keep testing the same limit, this time, the limit pushed back. The destination was Area 51. Early on, a vehicle passed them without stopping. It almost looked like they were going to get away with it again. They weren't.
Guess what, camo dudes? We're back. That is Sniper Hill up there. That is Sniper Hill. I can't believe we had actual camo dudes looking right at us. I'm turning mine off. That was crazy. What if that's because of our video? Wait, okay, guys. All your cameras off.
It is?
Yeah, it's mine.
This is on.
Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, all right, guys, you ready? You ready? When we were here last time, that was about 4 months ago. We put a video up.
The sign they drove past was hard to read clearly in the footage. Too much movement, too much speed, but they had photographed it on their previous visit. And when you look at that photo closely, the words printed on it are not ambiguous. Use of deadly force is authorized. That's not a warning designed to scare tourists. That's a legal notice telling you exactly what the people on the other side of that line are permitted to do. And almost immediately after passing it, they found out just how seriously those words were meant.
Yours are still off. Whoa. Whoa. Uh-oh, we got things happening. I know, I am. Yeah.
Put your hands up. I'm not going to tell you again. Right. Turn around. You got him? I'll pat him down. You got it? Yeah. You got anything on you? Nope.
No, sir.
I got a knife with you. Huh? Any weapon? Cutting stuff. Spread your feet. Spread your feet. You're going all the way out here.
We're just adventure travelers. We're just adventure travelers.
Just adventure travelers?
Yeah.
Spread your feet up. They sent us to turn around. Oh, turn around. We're down a little alien. They said, come up Stewartwell Road.
Yeah.
Everybody else does. Yeah, that's what everybody does. We're going to go pass the line. We're turning around to head back to Little Alien for dinner. Or you want to get a ruler out and talk about centimeters?
I knew you should. I know.
Listen, we're going to give you guys a chance, okay? Get on your bikes, get the out of here. We'll call Lincoln County, and they'll write you each a $750 ticket.
Okay.
We're out of here. Thank you. Right. Go ahead.
Sorry for the hassle, guys. We're just travelers. My bad. All right, let's do it.
A ticket is better than a bullet. That's not an exaggeration in this case. The officers who intercepted them were not playing a role. There was no moment of casual conversation, no benefit of the doubt extended. These were armed personnel running a calculated stop, and the only reason it didn't escalate further was because the bikers complied without hesitation. One wrong move, one slow response, And this video tells a very different story. They got lucky, twice actually. Once for walking away without a fine the first time, and once for walking away without worse than a fine the second. After posting the footage, they claimed they began receiving pressure to take the video down. Whether that's true or not is difficult to verify. What is verifiable is this: their last upload to the channel came 9 years ago. The reasons were never made public. They've continued posting on social media since then, so they're still out there. But the channel went silent. Make of that what you will. What's clear is the takeaway. That area exists at a level of security most people never encounter in their lives. Armed patrols, monitored perimeters, a legal framework that authorizes the use of deadly force to protect it. It is not a place to test your luck. And it is definitely not a place to go back to after you've already been warned once. March 24th, 2026, a solo mountain camp. Nothing about the opening suggested anything worth worrying about. Haze Outdoors is a channel built around exactly this kind of content. Wild camping, long treks, gear tested in remote corners of the UK. Calm, practical, the kind of outdoor content that earns trust through consistency rather than drama. He usually lets the landscape carry the video. On this day, he was doing a Q&A on the move, answering viewer questions as he walked, letting the trail fill the background while the conversation did the work. Early on, the ground was forgiving, open, rolling, easy underfoot. Then gradually, it wasn't. The path began to narrow. Loose stone replaced solid ground. The surface grew uneven in a way that started demanding more attention. Small corrections, subtle weight shifts, feet placed with a little more intention than before. He kept talking, kept answering questions, but the pauses started appearing. Those small, barely noticeable hesitations that creep in when the ground stops cooperating and part of your focus quietly redirects itself downward.
My mental health's been so good of late is that I've just been kicking my own ass on my terms, mate. Yeah, I don't feel like going out. I don't want to go out. Tough, mate, tough. You're going out.
Eventually, the route funneled into something tighter, a rough, narrow stretch with a real drop on one side, loose patches underfoot, the kind of terrain where a single bad step has consequences. He kept moving, adjusted his pace, watched his footing, and then, in a single, unannounced moment, it happened. One patch of loose dirt, one shift of weight in the wrong direction, and just like that, his balance was gone.
You know, if you're like, I can't be bothered, mate. Shit! Ah! Ah!
The camera lurched. He went down, sliding into the water below, and stayed there for several long seconds before pulling himself clear.
Oh my God, I think I've broke my arm. Oh my God, I think I've broke my arm. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh my God. Right, okay. Oh, ow, ow, ow. Where's my camera gone? Has it gone down waterfall? Oh no. Where's the mic? Mic's still there. You can hear me. Can you hear me? Audio only. Mate, I think I broke my arm, and I was lucky that I didn't land on my head then. I could have been dead. I could have been dead there. Mate, I've just fallen down that cliff. And landed there. My arm is haggard and I've lost my camera. I don't know if it's landed in the water and just gone off.
Once the shock settled enough to take stock, the picture was straightforward. The trip was done. His arm was wrong, stiff, limited, clearly not going to cooperate with more climbing or the process of setting up a camp in exposed terrain. There was only one option left: get back down, carefully. The same ground he'd just crossed, now navigated in reverse, one deliberate step at a time, with the sole objective of not falling again. The Q&A was over. The narration stopped. Just the quiet work of getting off the mountain in one piece. Looking back at the footage, there was no dramatic warning, no obvious moment where things announced themselves as dangerous. Just a calm walk on a Tuesday afternoon that changed direction in less than a second. And that's the part that stays with you. How little it takes, how fast a routine stretch of trail becomes something else entirely. One step, that's the entire margin. Meat Love Sundays. or as most people know him, Sean. He runs a YouTube channel built around something most of us only dream about: camping under open skies, snorkeling in hidden coves, even surfing along quiet stretches of coastline. He lives out of his van, traveling across the UK, sharing every breathtaking place he stumbles into. But this trip was different. Sean had driven down to the Cornwall coast for what was supposed to be a simple getaway, a bit of surfing, a bit of snorkeling, nothing he hadn't done 100 times before. What he didn't realize was that this trip would leave a mark on him, one that would follow him through every night of van life that came after. Before settling in for the night, Sean stepped outside the van. He just wanted to check his curtains, to see how much light slipped through, to see how visible he was from the outside.
Okay, so I'm outside. It's pretty dark, as you can see. Really dark, actually. I'm just going to turn the lights on. Let's just see what we can see. So, if you ask me, that looks pretty dark. Okay, I need to get back in the van before people notice.
From where he stood, the van looked dark, quiet, almost invisible, safe even. But Sean may have stayed out there a little too long, because what happened after he climbed into bed would change the way he saw van camping forever. He locked the doors, he settled in, and then, not long after, he reached for his camera again, only this time, he was recording something far more unsettling.
I just heard something outside.
Someone was outside the van, knocking on the side, trying the door handle. Sean froze. He didn't move. He didn't make a sound. He barely allowed himself to breathe. It was the kind of moment no one ever prepares for.
What?
Luckily, whoever was out there seemed to realize the van wasn't empty and chose not to push it any further, but the damage was done. That encounter shook Sean to his core.
They literally tried to get in the van. It wasn't just a knocking, they were trying the handle.
Worried they might come back, he carefully stepped outside, just to make sure no one was still lurking in the shadows.
My heart was pounding then. I mean, they were either trying to move me on or trying to break into the van. Either way, not pleasant. I think that if I'd heard them coming in more, I've got a metal pole here. I could have just got out and not done anything. I'm not moving.
He found nothing. No footprints, no figure in the dark, no sign that anyone had ever been there. He climbed back into the van, sat quietly on his bed, and tried to make sense of what had just happened. Sleep was out of the question, not just for that night, but probably for many nights after. Still, Sean knew it could have gone much worse. He never had to reach for the pole he kept nearby for protection. So what about you? If you were in that van, what would you have done? Let us know down in the comments. And that's it for tonight's video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. New videos drop every week and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Drop a comment below. Which story got to you the most? Or share your own if something like this has ever happened to you. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one.